Hey everyone, welcome back. I know it's been a very long time since I've done a video, but I thought I would give you I'm actually planning on filming a few videos, so I figured I would start with kind of how I was doing work planning earlier this year. This might be helpful for anyone who does any sort of scheduling for a team of people. Because back in March, I took over scheduling our maintenance department. Let me just kind of show you how I was handling all of that information. So we'll start with this first. This is a plum paper planner. I ordered it unpunched, and then I actually no, I think they now will punch for discs for you. So I ordered it with a disc punch. This is the teacher planner. They actually, afterwards, I discovered they do have a version of this that's not the teacher planner, but what I was looking for, let me jump back to something that was blank here, was a layout that had the days of the week along one side and then just blank columns. Right now we have 6 maintenance techs, somewhere between 5 and 6. So this was the perfect number. So let me show you kind of how I was using this. I really wasn't doing too much here on the monthlies. Sometimes I marked down when people would be out. Sometimes I marked down when I thought I might be out of town. As you can see, I didn't really use them all that much. But what I was doing on the weeklies was I had a column for each tech, and if they were out, I just drew a line through it. As you can see, it's very messy, but I just needed a quick way to note who was going to be where. So at a glance, if I had a new work order that came in, I could see kind of what part of town they were in. So that's pretty much how this was used. If it was a day where everybody was off, I just drew a line through it. You can see I kind of stopped using it when things slowed down a little bit. I was able to track pretty easily once I got through the summer. The summer is the busiest month, where I had people doing rent readies, I had people doing work orders, so I just needed to keep track of where everybody was. So you can see I really used it during the summer, but as we got towards the fall, when things slowed down, it was just easier to track it in our software. So there's that. And then I was also using a bullet journal. I may need to come back and blur some of this out, but just so you kind of get an idea, if you watched my previous bullet journal video for work, it was a lot more decorative. This, I went back to like literal bare bones bullet journal method. So this was basically a brain dump section where I was just getting all of the open projects out of my brain as I learned about them. One of the first things I did was I spoke with the person who had been coordinating maintenance before me and got a list of who to call about what. So it kind of gave me a place to start as far as which techs did which techs had which skills, which companies I needed to call, that sort of thing. So from there, I started on this. So I did put down a future log, just so I could kind of keep track of when I might do bigger projects. And then this is the April monthly. So basically, I did put the last few days of March in just because of where the weeks fell. So how I was using this actually ended up being an index almost for what was in the daily pages. So if I needed to see, for example, let's see, when I ordered the dishwasher for Richmond, I could come back, scan through here and see, okay, I ordered it April 13th. And then I also had tracking that I was doing, because I was doing the same thing every single day, and I wanted to make sure that I was approving bills, assigning tickets, and then reviewing the prior day's tickets. So I just abbreviated that BAR, and as you can see, the far right column, I was just making a note of what days I'd done it. I've never been really great at tracking, so you can see I kind of fell off toward the end of the month as it became more routine. I did put a little bar next to Saturday and Sunday, because really there wasn't much going on then. And then I had a list of tasks and projects for April. Not all of these needed to be done in April, but it was just a note of things as they came up, and then I could migrate them. And then I had daily pages. So I just needed a place to basically dump notes, because I had so much going on, like who's ordering steps? How many do we need? I was doing research for trying to find trash and recycling cans because they were hard to find at the beginning of the year. Because our city uses specific trash and recycling bins and you can only get them in certain places. I had notes, just like things I was thinking about. I didn't always use a full day for each daily page, but it gave me a place to write down confirmation numbers. I had a section here because I was taking over maintenance and I was transitioning human resources and a few other corporate items to my business partners. So again, project lists of things that I was going to stop doing that I needed to transition to somebody else. We were trying to pull more information into our software, so things we need to track and put into that software. More daily pages, and then at the end of each week I would kind of do a weekly review. Basically what I would do is flip back through that week and look for open tasks that didn't get done and put them here. From there, I actually was also using Notion, which I still am to some point. I'll talk a little bit about that later. I kind of go in and out of Notion, but I do usually keep my longer term projects and tasks in Notion, just because it's a good, like, electronic way where I can access it from various places to keep track of tasks. So if it was something I needed to get done the following week, I would migrate it forward. If it was something it was more of a long-term thing, I would put it into Notion. And then, you know, another collection of longer-term projects, things we needed to work on. And then I started kind of going back into something from, I'm going to put her name down below probably in the text. It's Ink Impressions or something. Oh gosh. It's been a long time since I've watched her YouTube channel, but I know that that's where I got this weekly layout from, where it was basically the week schedule, a list of goals, something I wanted to remember. Does the amount of attention I'm giving this match its importance? Things like that I want to remember. And then I'm also a follower of Productive Flourishing's method of doing project breakdowns. And so part of what they do is they, you know, it's 5 goals, 5 projects, and then trying to put down no more than 5 tasks per day. So that was where this came from here. I had a collection of job responsibilities, things I needed to do to navigate into routines, stuff that I was doing over and over again. Obviously I have sticky notes when I was trying to figure out, like, how often do these things need to be done. I was doing what I was calling the work order deep dive. Our software, we migrated into it because we were kind of split between 2 different ones. We migrated fully into it, and there were so many open work orders. So these were questions to ask myself during the work order deep dive. Let's see. So more daily pages. It's just kind of normal. Again, another week, weekly tasks. So this is just kind of how it was going. California, we need to do balcony and elevated elements inspections. So I had started to put a spot for that collection as a reminder that it needed to be done, but I didn't actually make a lot of progress on it. And then this is where I started getting into this, because I was trying to figure out who's doing rent readies, who's doing inspections, who's doing work orders. And that kind of started getting a little more complicated to figure out. I think I actually might have taken, yeah, I don't think I have April in here. When I was doing the interior inspections, that was the other thing I was using the monthly page for. It was just trying to lay down, like, who's going to be where, how many texts do I need, what days do I need to serve notices to enter for. It's a lot of moving parts, and while I can kind of sort of do it in my head, a lot of times it's easier to do it on paper. So I think that April is where that was born. I ran out of room in the on the discs, so I had taken April out already. Let's see. Kind of back to this. It's the same format through here. A weekly review at the end of the week. I kind of went to a slightly different format where instead of having 2 columns, I just did it all in one section. And instead of tracking kind of on the monthly page, what I started doing was just writing BAR across the top, that abbreviation, and then just putting a line through it, or X through it when I got it done, because it's out of sight, out of mind. I wasn't seeing it in that main section. And I don't think, let's see. Oh, here it is. Here's May. So kind of the same format. I had a theme for May and then the tasks and projects that I was working on. So, I mean, it's pretty much the same all the way through. I skipped a page on accident. And then I think this is about the spot where I stopped using it quite so much. You can see I went from May, then we have August. I was using it basically August and September just as kind of I needed a place to write something down. So it stopped being so much of a formal bullet journal as just a place to have notes for the day. Basically here I was clearing out the maintenance email and just making notes of things that still needed to be taken care of. We got into October, again, same thing. Just a list of notes that I needed for that day. I had a reverse trade show this day where I was meeting with different people. And then November, and then actually at this point was when I went to, it's basically right before I left for Thanksgiving. So that was kind of where I stopped, and I've moved into something else, which I will talk about slightly later because that's what I'm planning to do for next year. So I hope that was kind of an interesting look at kind of what I've been doing for work this year. And I figure I'll keep that separate because a lot of people do, you know, use planners for work, but sometimes they use something different for home. This is how I've been using these two together as I've been doing a lot of scheduling, and when I'm coordinating the maintenance team, there's a lot of information that comes very quickly, and I need to have a place to write it down so I don't lose it, so I have a place to reference it later. Because I have discovered if I just think I'm going to remember it later, it does not happen. So I hope that was interesting. I'm going to keep this a little bit on the shorter side, and I'll be kind of dividing up into different videos. Bullet journal is a lot less frou-frou than the last time I did a work bullet journal, which I actually think, oh, I do still have it here. This was the last one I kept. You notice I like this color. The last time I was actually drawing layouts, and this was 2018. I didn't have time to draw layouts this time, so I decided I would just keep it very plain and simple. But if you have any questions, leave them down below. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, I appreciate a like. I finally have a new place for filming set up in my room, so hopefully the videos will not be so far apart. It's been kind of a crazy year with everything that I have had going on, and between work, transitioning to a new role, and then being just absolutely burnt out until basically September, I think. I just didn't have the energy or the bandwidth to do too much of anything. So I am feeling a little more back to myself, so hopefully you will see videos a little more often from me. I thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.